In the book of Revelation chapter 13, after John the Revelator saw that first beast, which God used as a symbol of the papacy, in Revelations 13 and verse 11, we are told, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." Now we learned earlier from Daniel chapter 7 verses 2 and 3, 17 and 23, that a beast in Bible prophecy is symbolic of a political power or a nation, a kingdom. And in the book of Daniel chapter 7 verses 2 and 3, we see beasts that are rising up out of the sea. Now the Bible lets us know what the sea or waters are symbolic of in the book of Revelation chapter 17 and verse 15. We are told there, "The waters which thou sawest, where the horse sittest, are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues." So the waters in the Bible are symbolic of many people, a very densely populated place on planet Earth. That's where these political powers in the book of Daniel chapter 7 verses 2 and 3 were rising into prominence out of, a very highly densely populated place. But in the book of Revelations 13 and verse 11, we're not looking at a beast or a political power or kingdom that's rising up out of the sea. We're looking at a political power that's rising up out of the earth, which is the direct opposite of the sea. So we're talking about a nation that rises into prominence in a sparsely populated place on planet Earth, in the new world. And this beast, as it rises into prominence, it has two horns like a lamb. In the book of Habakkuk, chapter 3 and verse 4, the Bible identifies what horns are a prophetic symbol of, because we are told there his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hand, and therein was the hiding of his power. Horns in the Bible are symbolic of power. So we're looking at a political power that rises into prominence in a sparsely populated place on planet Earth, and it has two powers that are like a lamb. And the Bible tells us what the lamb primarily stands as a symbol of in the book of John chapter 1 and verse 29, which tells us, "And the next day John seeth Jesus coming unto him, and saith, Behold the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sins of the world." So the lamb primarily stands as a symbol of Jesus Christ. And some of the principles associated with Jesus Christ, whom is the Lamb, are found within the book of Galatians chapter 5 and verse 1, which tells us, "Stand fast therefore in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made you free, and be not entangled again in the yoke of bondage." So two of the principles that are associated with Jesus Christ are liberty and freedom. So what we're looking at in the book of Revelations 13 and verse 11 is a political power, a nation that rises into prominence in a sparsely populated place on planet Earth. As it rises into prominence, it professes to be a Christian nation and promotes the principles of liberty and freedom, and let's just throw in justice for all. What nation do you have, ladies and gentlemen? You know who it is. It's the United States of America. And there are two great powers that lay at the foundation of the strength of our nation, which are republicanism and Protestantism. A republic, a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And Protestantism, meaning we can worship what we want to worship, when we want to worship, and how we want to worship. But moreover, Protestantism means that we protest against the Catholic Church. From the inception of this nation, we protested against the Catholic Church. That's why this nation came into existence. The Mayflower landed on Plymouth Rock because they were escaping persecution from the Catholic Church. But what happens, ladies and gentlemen, if the United States of America stops being a republic and starts calling itself a democracy, which is a vastly different thing from a republic? What if the government of the United States of America starts taking the power out of the hands of the people and starts investing that power into the Oval Office? Well, what are you doing? That's weakening the horn of the republic. That's making this nation weak. But then what happens if the United States of America starts removing itself from its Protestant roots? What happens if we stop protesting against the Catholic Church? What happens if we start having birthday parties at the White House for the Pope? What happens if we have a vice president that's a practicing Roman Catholic? What happens if we have a Secretary of State like John Kerry that takes the Catholic Mass? What happens if we have 6 out of the 9 Supreme Court justices that are practicing Roman Catholics, the highest lawmaking body in our land? What happens if that happens? There's no more protest, is there? What happens if the so-called Protestant churches of the United States of America, the evangelicals of the United States of America, start saying, let's make friends with Rome, let's all kiss and hug? then you've just weakened the horn of Protestantism. And what do you have left? You have a weak and young nation, or rather a weak and young beast. The very type of beast that a leopard likes to make its prey. Ladies and gentlemen, do you see where we're at? When Pope Benedict XVI stepped down as Pope abruptly on February 11th of 2013, what we saw is the movement of the leopard. Because a leopard never moves abruptly unless it's getting ready to rapidly advance to make its kill. And that's what the papacy's been doing since February 11th. Because since Pope Francis has become the Pope, in less than 365 days, he's turned around the whole public view of the Roman Catholic Church. When's the last time you heard about a pedophile case in the Roman Catholic Church? All you can hear about is the Pope being Time Magazine Man of the Year. All you can hear about is the Pope making the cover of the Homosexual Rights magazine. All you can hear about is the Pope landing on Rolling Stone magazine. How did that even happen? You see, they've been rapidly advancing, gaining the favor of the people, changing their persona. The last thing they need to do is destroy Protestantism within the United States of America. And that's where we're at right now. And as you're going to see as we pull apart Tony Palmer and Pope Francis' speech, we're here at the last final movements. It's time to pay attention and get ready, because the judgment is getting ready to come to a conclusion.